It is the 3rd day of January, the year 2025. We're glad that you tuned to KUTV Primetime News tonight, and we have a lot lined up for you tonight because our reporters have been up and about interacting with different issues and different people, and they have brought you different stories tonight. Here are the top ones. Political temperature escalates between Ishongwa and Natembeya in burial ceremony. President Ruto distances himself from allegations of abducting his critics. Ousted DP Rigathi Gachagua condemns Ruto government for continued lies. 9 perish and 4 sustain injuries in Chemoset road accident. This is KUTV Primetime News with Mutegi K. Martin. And Lucy Kerry is with us in the sign language interpretation tonight. Welcome to the broadcast. Now, political temperature today escalated at the burial ceremony of mother to National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula after Trans Nzoia Governor George Natembeya clashed with Kimani Ichung'wah. The two clashed over abductions claims, with Ichung'wah publicly stating that Natembeya was part of abductions and killings that happened in the previous regime.
For a leader to stand here and tell you kwamba people are abducting themselves and they're killing themselves, I think it's unfortunate. It's not for these hallowed grounds. Our children are getting lost, they're being abducted, wengine wanauawa.
I want to ask you, Governor Natembeya, you were a regional commissioner the other day when hundreds of people were kidnapped, abducted, and killed in Kerio Valley. Na wakatupwa mili yao hapa River Yala, wewe ukiwa regional commissioner Rift Valley. Kwani siku hiyo haukujua maisha ya wananchi ni maisha? Si tuambiane ukweli jameni? Tuambiane ukweli, tusiambiane. Sababu siasa mnazofanya, Governor Natembeya, ni kuambie leo mchana dhahiri, siasa mnazofanya za kugawa watu kwa misingi ya ukabila, mambo ya uchochezi, hizo siasa zimekoma na hautafaulu nazo. Yule aliyekuwa kiongozi wako wa siasa za ukabila, aliyekuwa naibu wa rais, huyo ndiye mwenye kupanga mambo ya abductions ili awekelee huyu William Ruto. Tunawajua, tunawaona mchana, tutawatangaza mchana hadharani.
And President William Ruto has distanced himself from allegations of abducting individuals who criticize his government, asserting that he has ensured the independence of the police service and vowed that the country will never return to the dark days of the River Yala killings. Speaking in Bungoma during the funeral of Mama Ann Nanyama, the late mother of Moses Wetangula, Ruto also addressed his critics, urging them to exercise democracy responsibly instead of resorting to baseless accusations.
With the rising concerns over the fate of political abductees in the country, President William Ruto has distanced himself from the accusations of abducting his critics. This was during the burial ceremony of National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula's mother, the late Mama Ann Wetangula. The president noted that his government has been intentional in empowering the police service to be an independent body under the Inspector General of Police, insisting that his government respects the Constitution and will never take the country back to the days of the River Yala killings.
I took a firm decision when I took over. I said that we must stop extrajudicial killing in Kenya. I took that firm position, and I did not just say it, I took steps.
Prior to the president taking to the podium, Trans Nzoia Governor George Natembeya had urged the government to end the incidents of abduction, acknowledging that such cases are happening in the country. He further emphasized that Kenyans should not be killed or abducted for using abusive language on social media.
Watoto wanatukana watu kwa mitandao. Hata mimi nikifungua my WhatsApp, my groups ambazo niko pale, for every 2 comments, every 10 comments, 8 of them ni matusi. Wanatukana vibaya sana. That one needs to change. But if it can't change, people should not be killed because of that. I'm abducted because of that.
However, President William Ruto condemned his critics, especially those who insult him on social media, accusing them of spreading division, hatred, and inciting Kenyans against his government. Ruto warned his critics to use democracy responsibly.
Na watu wengine wako huko kwa mitandao hawataki sana tuseme haya mambo, kwa sababu wanataka kuendelea tu kusema hakuna kazi inaendelea Kenya, hakuna kitu, fitina tu, story, Kasongo, Sakayo, sijui. Hiyo Kasongo ni sawa, ni wimbo mzuri sana ambaye ilikuwa inaendelea, so hiyo Kasongo tuendelee naye. Ile ya Sakayo pia si mbaya, kwa sababu kusanya ushuru ya kupeleka Kenya mbele, hiyo ni sawa. Na kwanza Sakayo ndio aliona Mungu alimtembelea. Sasa wewe hujakuwa Sakayo, utatembelewa na Mungu namna gani?
President William Ruto is now urging Kenyans not to pay attention to critics who spread division on social media, but instead focus on matters that will build Kenya and move it forward. Blue Smile Hassan, Primetime News, KUTV.
Thank you, Blue Smile Hassan. It's good to have you back this year. Now, impeached Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has yet again publicly rebuked President William Ruto's government, sharply criticizing the president for what he termed as intensified lies. Gachagua, who spoke during the funeral of former Embu Senator Lenny Kivuti's son, Eric Mutegi, openly condemned MPs for what he termed as being trapped with the head of state's lies.
Ile shida iko Kenya ni mambo ya uongo. Na ndio mimi nilipata matatizo pale kwa serikali kwa sababu mimi mtu ya ukweli na wale ni watu ya uongo.
Following his exclusion from the Kenya Kwanza government,
niongee nisiongee,
impeached Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has now adopted a new political approach, constantly criticizing and condemning Ruto's government for what he now terms as nothing but lies.
The people of Kenya are very intelligent, and you people are running out of lies. Mumedanganya watu mpaka you have started believing in your own lies.
Speaking at the funeral service of Eric Mutegi, the former Embu Senator Lenny Kivuti's son, Gachagua boldly accused MPs of being victims of the head of state's lies, assuring them that they will soon regret their steps.
Na unajua hii wabunge wetu walidanganywa ati shida ya Kenya ni Rigathi Gachagua. Ati yakitolewa barabara zitajengwa. Simejengwa sasa? Ati yakitolewa kutakuwa na maji, iko maji. Ati ikitolewa iko madawa kwa hospitali, iko madawa. Sasa nyinyi wabunge, how foolish can you be? Yeah. Mtu alidanganya sisi na Biblia. Na mnajua alitudanganya. Anaita nyinyi tena anadanganya nyinyi. Mnapiga ndugu yenu. Sasa muko na shida na hawa, mtaonana na hii watu.
Gachagua, however, asserted that the rift between him and President Ruto kicked off just after the president's attempt to divide the Mount Kenya region, a move that he could not tolerate at all.
Ile shida lifanya mimi nakosana na William Ruto ni kujaribu kugawanya Mount Kenya into 2. Na nikamwambia haiwezekani. Kwa sababu tukikubali kugawanywa tumeisha. Our strength is our unity. And because of what they did, the mountain is more divided, is more united than it was. Na hakuna mtu tagawanya hii mlima. Na hii January nitaongea.
Additionally, Gachagua vowed to announce his political stance on Mount Kenya by the end of January 2025, stating that he would issue out the region's political direction based on what he has heard from the ground.
Niongee nisiongee? Nimesikiza wazee, nimesikiza watu ya kanisa, watu ya biashara, professionals, naendelea kusikiza ground. Tutatoa mwelekeo ya watu ya mlima vile tutaishi kwa hii Kenya.
ndio siku ingine tusijikute kwa ile shimo tumewekwa.
Despite his removal from the ruling regime, Gachagua seemingly still holds a significant political influence in the mountain region, with his political direction and stance eagerly expected later this month.
Huyu mzee anaitwa Raila Odinga.
James Baraka for KUTV.
Earlier today, 9 people perished in a grisly road accident, while other 4 passengers sustained serious injuries after a matatu plying the Eldoret-Kitale route collided head-on with a lorry headed in the opposite direction at Chemoset area in Soy. The casualties were rushed to the Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital in Eldoret, where they are currently receiving treatment. According to the Uasin Gishu County Police Commander Benjamin Mwanthi, it is likely that the matatu was on high speed before veering off its lane. Motorists have been cautioned against ignoring traffic safety rules. And still on matters accidents, road safety advocates are calling for urgent action as road accidents continue to claim lives across the country. With the rising concerns over corruption and inefficiency in the transport sector, lobby groups are demanding that the government declare the escalating road carnage a national disaster. Brenda Nyongesa has more on that.
Road safety lobby groups have urged the government to take immediate steps to address the alarming rise in road accidents, calling for a declaration of a national disaster. Led by Speed Governors and Road Safety Association Chairman Edward Gitonga, the groups have proposed sweeping changes, including overhauling the National Transport and Safety Authority (NTSA).
Culture of impunity must come to an end. That culture of value for money than lives of Kenyans must come to an end. We see the minister, the CSS being vetted. We want this post, a director for NTSA, National Transport Road Safety. We want to see qualifications. Hii mambo ya guesswork, ate mtu anatolewa na huko, ate ako kiwanja ya ndege, anaelewa mambo ya ndege. Mambo ya ndege na gari ni tofauti sana.
Gitonga, alongside Secretary General John Mutisia and Road Safety Association of Kenya Chairman David Kiari, criticized NTSA for alleged incompetence and nepotism, citing unqualified hires in key positions. The lobbies called for fresh vetting of NTSA officials and an urgent investigation into corruption claims within the agency.
And when we don't talk about safety, we talk of money, corruption, which is in NTSA. If that thing is not checked, we will continue losing Kenya. This time I want to say thank you. We have a very new CS, and I want him to kabisa mulika on the side of NTSA, because NTSA is full of corruption. NTSA is run by unqualified people. We have so many automotive engineers in this country, and those are the people who should be running our inspection centers. We need an automotive engineers to run this NTSA, and particular when we talk of the inspection.
Mutisia expressed optimism that road fatalities could be halved in 6 months if the new Transport Cabinet Secretary Davis Chirchir collaborates with stakeholders to implement lasting solutions. Kiari echoed this sentiment, urging the removal of NTSA officers from roads and the replacement with traffic police to ensure accountability.
If we get to have a meeting with Davis, the story of road safety, we will be able to bring, and that is an assurance, the fatalities down by 50% in the first 6 months, and a further 50% by the end of the year. If only those who know what it takes to have road safety on our roads are embraced by the system.
This comes amid allegations of skewed hiring practices, inefficiencies at NTSA's vehicle inspection units, which stakeholders claim compromise road safety standards. A whistleblower has also exposed widespread corruption, deepening concerns about the agency's ability to ensure road safety. The lobby groups now await decisive action from the government to restore confidence and save lives on Kenya's roads. Brenda Nyongesa, KUTV.
Now, 2 foreign nationals of Italian descent have been denied access to their passports by a Kilifi court, pending the hearing and determination of their cases. The two, Daniel Lococo, I beg your pardon, and Massimo Nativi, are accused of being involved in a cash fraud case amounting to 32 million shillings. Magistrate James Moneki dismissed the applications of the two Italians to have their passport returned. The accused were charged that on various dates between August 30th in 2018 and August 1st, 2019 at the Watamu area of Malindi sub-county within Kilifi County with intent to defraud. They jointly obtained 17 million shillings from Rita Napo by pretending that they were in a position to sublease her villa, I beg your pardon, number 5A. Right, it's time for us to take our first short break right here on KUTV Primetime News tonight. Remember, we have so much more in store for you, including stories just outside our borders around Africa. See you in a bit.
Katika maisha yetu ya leo, wakulima na jamii nyingi kwa ujumla wanakumbatia teknolojia mbalimbali na kilimo hai ili kuondoa magonjwa sugu na kuongeza usalama na utoshelevu wa chakula. Mbolea asili imepunguza asidi kwenye udongo na kuongeza mavuno chungu nzima. Wajua tuko shambani, na humu shambani pia kuna ng'ombe, kuna kuku, na wanaacha uchafu wao. Na huo uchafu si wa kutupwa, ni wa kutumika katika kilimo kama mbolea. Kwa sababu mimea hii imekuwa kutumia mbolea ya hawa wanyama. Wakulima mbalimbali wamekumbatia teknolojia ili kuokoa gharama ya ukulima na kutumia nafasi zilizopo katika mashamba yao.
You are watching KUTV Primetime News with Mutegi K. Martin. Welcome back. Remember, this live broadcast is also live on YouTube at KUTV News Kenya, and our conversation happening on X at KUTV_Kenya. Now let's get to the stories that I told you were outside our borders. Let's go to South Africa. And some of Johannesburg's informal waste reclaimers got an upgrade recently. A collaboration turned a sprawling camp into an award-winning, data-driven, solar-powered sorting and baling hub. As Maurice de Klerk reports, incomes are up and the neighbors are happier.
Peter Boy is one of 8 resident waste reclaimers at the Urban Surfer Recycling and Solar Baling Hub in Johannesburg, South Africa, collecting and selling recyclable waste for an income.
I come recycling because my job was finished. It's better to do something, not to go and steal somewhere.
Before the hub went live in April, the reclaimers lived and sorted at an informal open-air camp near the Hollard Insurance headquarters. The socially and sustainably conscious insurer contracted Urban Surfer, an informal recycling consultancy, to formalize and manage the camp as a pilot project with the permission of the reclaimers and other neighbors.
Some supplying water to the reclaimers, some supplying seeds to plant. Now, with it being completely enclosed, with them having sleeping quarters and the relevant equipment, it actually contributes really nicely into the neighborhood.
Residents also have access to Wi-Fi and solar power, and they've even started a garden. The camp doubles as a sorting, processing and storage facility. The reclaimers are issued trolleys and personal protective equipment. Urban Surfer assists with training and collects data on the little studied world of informal waste reclaimers. Since the project's start, the reclaimers baled and sold more than 70 tons of recyclable litter for combined earnings of about $12,500, almost tripling their individual average incomes.
I can send my family money, I can phone them, I can buy me a clothes, I can buy me food, I can go home with that little money I have.
The guys are more presentable, so they are collecting in areas with large volumes of waste like shopping centers, business parks, offices, and now they're not only just collecting and selling, but they are collecting and baling their waste.
Reclaiming and selling waste to survive is common amongst the extremely poor and marginalized, especially in the developing world. Research shows South Africa's estimated 200,000 informal recyclers divert most of the recyclables from the country's nearly full landfill sites, saving municipalities millions annually. Informal waste management systems researcher Trevor van Wyk says the initiative assists in destigmatizing waste work.
They are essential to maintaining our infrastructure in South Africa, and seeing them as important will help to reduce the stigma that is attached to them, because they are seen as people who intrude and encroach in our neighborhoods.
Polico, a non-profit legally mandated to increase recycling on behalf of plastic producers, is the project's other main sponsor. In the meantime, more lucrative waste management service contracts for the urban surfer waste professionals and plans for more hubs could come soon. Marisa de Klerk, VOA News, Johannesburg, South Africa.
In Zambia, an education and prevention program known as the Total Control of the Epidemic Project is focused on ending AIDS as a public health threat by 2030. Kathy Short reports from Petauke, Zambia.
Losi Zulu has been living with HIV/AIDS for 5 years, one of an estimated 1.3 million Zambians living with the disease. But she's getting help from the global NGO Humana People to People program, a project that is working with communities here to fight HIV/AIDS, malaria, and tuberculosis. Zulu got pregnant after testing positive for HIV, but her son is HIV negative. She credits medical interventions that help mothers access life-saving antiretroviral drugs or ARVs to prevent mother-to-child HIV transmission.
I have been living like this for 3 years, almost 4 years. So we go together with my husband to collect our medication. We take PrEP and ARVs together. So I'm very happy we are still together.
Zulu's husband, Joseph Banda, is HIV negative. He takes pre-exposure prophylaxis, PrEP, a medication that reduces infection from HIV, the virus causing AIDS. Zulu and Banda are what is known as a discordant couple, where one partner is HIV negative while the other is HIV positive.
My wife takes antiretroviral drugs to protect her from transmitting the HIV virus. She has to continue taking this medicine.
Margaret Zulu is a field officer at Development Aid from People to People in Zambia, or DAP, helping clients around the community to ensure that they are consistent in taking their medicines. She says field officers and community health workers visit people living with HIV who fell out of treatment to re-engage them and help them form small HIV treatment adherence support groups known as trios.
This program of TCE epidemic control has helped people to have knowledge about HIV, about prevention measures, what to do if we have tested negative, what step they can do, or how they can live positive life when we find the discordant couple.
Mwamba Chunda works as an HIV focal point person with the Ministry of Health at Petauke District Hospital, helping HIV-positive people adhere to their treatments.
We used to lose a lot of clients on treatment. You know, when you share someone on treatment, within a short period of time, they are lost. But we're engaging the community.
The project involves traditional leaders like village headman Yora Mwanza to raise awareness in communities about HIV/AIDS prevention and treatment programs run by DAP.
We started going door to door telling those who didn't attend the meetings that DAP has got this very good program and we should benefit from it because what we are learning is prolonging our lives, a good life.
DAP Zambia is implementing the Total Control of the Epidemic Project and Education and Prevention Program. Elisa Sorensen is its managing director.
We are still saying putting people first. And the slogan in the TC program is that only the people themselves can eliminate themselves from the TB and HIV epidemics.
The UN's bottom-up approach, combined with high-quality health services, aims to make Zambia reach the ambitious goal set by the UN of no new HIV infections, zero AIDS-related deaths, and zero stigma and discrimination by 2030. Kathy Short, VOA News, Petauke, Zambia.
It's time for sports news. Kenya Police FC and defender Aboud Omar has been appointed captain of Harambee Stars for the 2025 Mapinduzi Cup. The experienced left-back expressed pride in the role, vowing to lead by example. Omar emphasized the team's readiness, highlighting a strong mix of veterans and young talent, with the goal of winning the tournament. Addressing the past challenges, he urged fans to rally behind the team as they prepare for CHAN. After 5 years in Europe, Omar returned to Kenya and is determined to secure another move abroad. Kenya is set to face Burkina Faso in their opening match on Saturday. All right, it's time for us to bring a close to the conversation that is the KUTV Primetime News tonight, this Friday evening. And of course, we're glad that you found time to be tuned to this particular live broadcast. And I want to give a shout out to every member of the newsroom that prepared this particular bulletin and made it a success. We just want to make sure that everything we bring to you is fast-checked and verified as KUTV News, to make sure that you get to be informed on what's happening in your country and beyond your borders. And just before we leave you tonight, I just want you to reflect on something, something little, something brief, something small that maybe would turn out to be big or bigger than actually terming it as. Now, many of us want to be known for everything that we have. But don't you think it's more precious when people don't know exactly who you are and get surprised every time you show up, and you show up different? Think about that and have an awesome weekend ahead. Sign out with interpreter tonight is Lucy Carrier. My name is Mutegi K. Martin. Good night.